Cosmic Princess Kaguya.
Yes, a Netflix original, which from looking it up, it was a first-time director who had previously worked on aspects of Jujutsu Kaisen, specifically was it Jujutsu? That's such a stupidly hard word to say. It was either Jujutsu Kaisen or it was Chainsaw Man. 1 second.
I want to say, I think it was Jujutsu Kaisen.
Regardless,
Yeah.
regardless, it's interesting how everybody in theory needs some sort of first crack at it, but it's also it's weird to jump from that to feature-length movie.
Yeah, you usually get like a limited series, I would say, or something a little smaller.
It's possible that Wikipedia and other places I've looked it up didn't have they just didn't mention like individual show episodes he'd worked on or the like. Yeah. Directed by Shingo Yamashita, who believe does not actually have a wiki. Nope, he does not in fact have a Wikipedia page. So
I'm sure he has an IMDb page. Let's see. That's a Cosmic Princess Kaguya, which this it borrows heavily from, I guess there's a myth of the princess named Kaguya from Japan, which I was unfamiliar with until this movie.
I would say, Mike, I was tangentially familiar with it. It's called specifically The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, which follows a princess from the moon is reborn as a baby in a bamboo stalk, hence the name. And the woodcutter raises her up and she grows quickly. And I believe in the end, when they made a point of this in the movie, that she goes back home.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So he worked on Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay. So both very frenetic, action-packed series, especially in their opening animations. And you know what? I'll say like the first positive of this film, which by the way, I forget if I mentioned, Netflix original, currently available. This thing does have very good animation, just from both a visual design perspective and also just a fluidity of motion perspective.
Yeah, I mean it's very well done animation. Very very pretty to look at. But the story is somewhat lacking.
I think that I feel like this was pitched as a season, and they were forced to make it into a movie. I feel like there's a lot of elements here that, if they had more time to breathe, would have come off better. So let's get into the story a bit. So you have Iroha Sakayori, a high school girl who has run away from home and is basically working herself to the bone, maintaining a Spartan lifestyle. So, it's like the classic Japanese anime thing where Japanese anime sounds redundant, but it's a classic anime thing where I guess most Japanese high schoolers just live independently so they can have adventures.
I guess, yeah. I had no idea how common that was.
Tisk.
Yeah.
And one day she's outside on the way home from, I forget whether it was school or work, and she's dead on her feet, and suddenly a meteor streaks through the sky, lands on a telephone pole, and just like the old legend, a baby comes out of it.
Yes, and of course she's now stuck taking care of this baby, but then the baby grows and grows until it's a like teenage girl. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And I would say the movie's strongest part is the relationship between Iroha and Kaguya, just because they bounce off each other very well. Iroha is a classic sort of stuck-up serious type, where Kaguya is the classic Genki girl, overly enthusiastic, huge appetite, very excitable, very random. kind of the Japanese version of the manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and the other part of it too is Aroha goes into this virtual reality world. I can't remember what it was called.
Basically a full dive game. You just put on these contact lenses and suddenly you see what's going on in the game.
Yeah, yeah, and they had their own avatars, and the popular or the I guess the I don't know if it's like the I guess the game moderator or whatever is this AI called what was her uh Yauchi, yeah, Yacha,
Yachio.
Yachio, thank you. And so then Aroha and Kaguya, I guess, comes up with the idea for her to she becomes a streamer, and so because I have a cold.
Yachio.
Yachio, thank you. Yachio is having a contest where the winner of like I think it gets like the most followers or whatever gets to do a live performance with her.
Yep. And it is kind of funny how just comically easy it is for Kaguya to become a internet star. Gosh, I mean, who knew it was that simple? Just be. Actually, no. She's using a avatar which funny thing, like Kaguya's avatar has bunny ears. This is a reference to how in Japan, you know, how, like in English we talk about the old man in the moon.
Yeah.
In Japan, they talk about the bunny in the moon.
Oh.
That's also why in Sailor Moon she was named Usagi, which means rabbit.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, and there's a lot we're leaving out, including some kind of rote friends.
Yeah.
And also they emphasize Aroha's relationship is strained with her mother. She ends up fighting her brother in basically it looks like 3D Fortnite.
Yeah.
In the game world. And inevitably Kaguya is like the forces of the moon are trying to bring her back because she is a important person up there. What I thought was interesting was that it seems like the celestial kingdom or the lunar kingdom or whatever you want to call it in Japanese mythology, it's one of those things where I keep seeing references to it being like super stratified and there's no free will or things, because that was also a thing in Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting mythology there with, you know, I guess everybody's got their own myths and legends about the moon, of course. Hello, Alex. Good to see you.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, and but of course, as we all know, the moon is basically just a giant ball of gray dust.
Yes. To be fair, it has a rocky core too, so yeah, it's entirely dust, but just mostly.
Yeah, that's.
I think it is related to East Asian ideas of like kind of. I think it's like derived from Chinese legends where the universe basically has a very imperial looking hierarchy and nature, but I'm not a versed enough person in East Asian myths to speak too intelligently about it. It's just a commonality I keep noticing.
Yeah.
Now, I would say that where this movie is best, besides its production value, is that it gets a lot of small details that are kind of fun, right? Like just things off the top of my head, the moon references in Kaguya being the rabbit girl. The relationship, like the moment-to-moment relationship between Aroha and Kaguya is very charming because it is the energetic one trying to drag her depressed friend out of depression.
Yeah.
And that's always a satisfying dynamic. You also have there's like a lot of tiny details in how the virtual world is created. So it's things like on the brothers team, you have what looks like a girl in a maid outfit, and then you realize partway through, oh, it's just somebody playing a. I don't know if it was playing a female avatar in a maid outfit or just playing a guy in a maid outfit, but partway through he started talking with a very gruff voice. It's like, oh wait, okay,
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. uh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some positives to take away from the movie, with all that. But yeah, like the rest of it is just kind of okay. So one of the things I think you alluded to this earlier, that it was probably meant to be a TV show, but then they made it into a movie because the movie's 2.5 hours. It's long for an anime.
And then even a lot of things are just kind of brushed over. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so one of the key things is Iroha not getting along with her mother, which is why she separated herself. You don't really get, like, you would expect to have some more scenes of them clashing in some way.
Yeah.
But the mother doesn't appear outside of flashbacks until the end. Actually, this is very similar, now that I think about it, to the adoptive mother character in K-pop Demon Hunters, where it feels like she should be a bigger part of the plot, and she isn't actually around very often.
Right. Yeah. There's some similarities there. Yeah.
And I think that K-pop Demon Hunters was also originally pitched as a series rather than a movie, if my half memory serves.
Yeah.
But I would say that K-pop Demon Hunters, the neglectful mother character, actually has more of a presence. So that's just very funny to me.
Yeah.
Now, Daniel, I should have asked you to do this ahead of time. Can you take those 2 YouTube clips I used to sum up my feelings on the end of the movie and pull them up, or do you have to have them downloaded?
I can. I can pull them up. I have to open up and
I'll fill some airtime while you do that.
Okay.
Because we kind of agree that this movie trips at the ending because they tried to go for a twist, and it's like a twist where it didn't feel like there was actually a mystery in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you find out what the origin of Yachio is.
Yes.
You also do get to see what the moon looks like, and the moon is like one of the examples in this movie of where they were just very creative visually, because the moon basically looks like regular animation, but it's like on like 90s sprite animation. So
yeah,
we had, so there were two thoughts on this movie, but for first reaction to the end.
Yes, okay.
Pursue my line of inquiry any further, as I think this is getting too silly.
Quite agree, quite agree. Silly, silly, silly. Right, get on with it. Get on with it.
Okay. Reaction number one.
Yeah, reaction number one. Now, let me get reaction number two, which is probably more apropos, I think. Go full. Okay. No, I'm not in full screen. What the heck is going on here? All right, there we go. All right, there we go. And here we go.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's unfortunately it does not stick the landing. There is a funny bit where they fake an ending where it looks like there's a credit screen that came up, like a Netflix credit screen, and I almost went to go click on it to because no, there's a half-hour movie left. What's going on here? It's like, oh, you just simulated that, you jerks.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that too. I was kind of, when I was watching it, and it looked like they were ending it, and I'm like, I paused. I'm like, wait a second. There's still like 30 minutes. Yeah, there's half an hour left. What are we doing here?
I would love to know their internal metrics of how many people stopped watching the movie at that point.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I told you the story, but I saw Ado in concert last year, and a coworker of mine happened to be there, though we didn't know about it. They had a bit where she took like 10 minutes off, and they claimed it was the last song, but then she came back for like a 30 more minutes of show. But the coworker took her at her word,
Oh,
even though they didn't bring the lights up.
sort of like all the people who got up and walked out of the theater when the Eagles were carrying Frodo away from Mordor in Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
Oh yeah, because it felt like an ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I will say, if they had ended it where they had the fake out ending, it would have been rather unsatisfying.
Yeah.
But what they came up with to end it wasn't better. What I also say is that this has a like very familiar. It's a very familiar style of ending in these, or not ending. It's a very familiar flow to a lot of this Japanese media where it's built on wild, crazy person shows up in my ordinary life and they leave. And even though everything is calm now, I kind of miss them. So I try to get them back or make them weird again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Off the top of my head, I can think of Squid Girl. I can think of All of My Choices Are Bad, or whatever that one was, where the guy kept being presented with awful choices by God. And he had to choose A or B.
Oh.
All My Choices Lead to Doom. Maybe that's the title of it. It's a
Oh,
very
okay.
light novel-y title.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those like patterns that once you notice it, it's like, okay, we're now in this ending. And we were in that ending, but not really. And also it's like, wait. I understand this is the not too distant future and they have super virtual reality technology, but we didn't have any indication that you could do what they did at the end.
Yeah.
That kind of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Although it did time jump, I think 10 years, didn't they?
So it looked like the characters were slightly older, but at the same time, when they went out onto the stage at the end, they looked basically unchanged. So it's,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
I have a hard time recommending this one. Like there's enough good here that I don't think it's a complete waste of life, but it's like it could have stuck the landing better, or Netflix is too permissive with these anime studios in terms of just letting the directors go wild, because it always seems like it's the ending where they like really fall apart and they're like too self-indulgent and a bit too long. Like if they had managed to get a coherent plot going in the time before the fake out ending, I think I would have come away with a happier feeling about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like this movie at all, to be honest. I just thought it was aside from like the character actor interactions, which I liked, aside from that, there's not really a whole lot for me to enjoy of this movie.
Yeah, I'm not usually a fan of things where the VR has to be a big part of it, and I thought this was integrated better than normal, but it still just wasn't quite my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that if you really like pseudo isekai that are about like gameplay worlds, actually if you liked the anime called Bofuri, which is about the girl who maxed out her defense skill and nothing else in an MMO, I think you would enjoy this. Similar flavor of silly.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a lot of people I know who even though they're weebs, I would not recommend it to them.
Yeah.